to Rob, Thomas, and Chill. My name's Jessica, and with me are Joel and Jenny. So a little bit of backstory. My friend Joel and I from school would have movie nights where he introduced me to Veronica Mars, the show. And because he knew Jenny and described her as his in real life Veronica Mars, we all started hanging out. And now that we live in different states, we are keeping in touch and keeping the good times rolling through a podcast. And we hope you can join us.
Guys, okay, are we recording? Are we recording?
Yes.
We are recording.
All right. Okay, so this is like big, right? It's, the release of Veronica Mars season 4 came out a week early, which is huge. It was news for all of us. Like, we were ready. We had like plans for this weekend, but Rob Thomas and Kristen Bell's birthday said, no, you're gonna have to change your plans last weekend because it is out now. And Hulu, actually, interesting, usually does the weekly releases. That's how they do with Harlots and with all the other original programming, like the Handmaid's Tale and everything else. So it's really interesting that they just dropped all 8 episodes on us right away. So I had the opportunity to binge it Friday night. As soon as I got home, I didn't work, and I was like, you know what, I'll work on Saturday, I'll figure this out. But I had the opportunity to binge it right away, and I know Jessica and Ginny, you guys had the opportunity to watch it over the weekend.
Correct.
Yes. And as Joel knows, Jessica and Joel and I have like our own message thread of Rob Thomas and Chill. I was side messaging Joel every episode, like, oh my God. And then after the last episode, I was like, oh my God, Jessica has to finish. Like, you've got to finish this. Like, I can't even contain myself.
Right. That's what we were.
And I don't know how Joel, I don't know how you did it on Friday before all of us. Like,
let me just say, like, if they're gonna end it that way, there better be a season 5.
Okay, just one more thing before we get started. If you haven't seen all of season 4, Veronica Mars, spoiler alert, you guys.
Right. There will
Stop
be
it right now. Stop it.
Huge
right
spoilers.
Now.
All of the spoilers are happening. Yeah.
Do not listen to one more second. Okay, that disclaimer's out of the way.
And, we will be doing episode by episode review later on, coming in different podcasts. But we thought that this was going to be our spoiler-filled, whoa, what the hell just happened, season 4 discussion. Because we needed it. We need the catharsis. We need to talk about it because there are things happening.
We just need a quick therapy session after that.
Right.
No big deal.
Big time.
So let's get right into it, guys. What'd you guys think?
So I think that we've got to address the biggest thing right now, which is everybody's mind, and that's that they killed Logan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, I think I had texted Joel like a day later, like, I feel dead inside. Like, when does it feel normal again? And you were like, it doesn't. Like,
it doesn't. This is just a new normal. You just have to get, like, this is just a new normal. That's
I'm
it.
still in shock.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, for me, I had the feeling something bad was going to happen because at the very beginning, it was like, I started to, like, it was more film noir than even the original series was, because just the opening, like,
very ominous.
Yes, very ominous. It's like, this girl, I started having feelings. Had I known now what would happen, I would have walked away. Like, super traditional, like, film noir kind of narrative there. Very ominous. And that's why, just like, they could have ended it at, almost at the very beginning of the last episode if they wanted that happily ever after kind of feeling. But the way they ended it, I almost have to believe there's going to be a season 5, because the whole point of, like, previous seasons is how she, keeps picking herself back up.
Right. And I think it was tough because they were really setting us up for Keith's demise.
Right?
Yeah.
Really didn't see this coming with Logan. We
They
were
were
kind of emotionally preparing ourselves, seeing Keith with his cane and, you know, his memory issues and the last thing, you know, so I think that really got us on that one.
yeah, they
Yeah.
were like they were laying it on thick. You were like, oh boy, Keith. Oh boy. Why does Keith look old? The Keith looks really old, guys. And it's like, and then he's with his cane, and it's like, it was like, oh no. And I was like emotionally ready for Keith. I
Yeah.
was like, okay,
We were
you know what?
preparing ourselves for the
She
worst.
needs
Yeah.
she needs to grow up. She needs to, kind of like be outside of her, like out of her father's shadow.
Right.
I was like, okay, this is good for her career. She'll be able to blossom and do all
And
this stuff.
facts of life, your parents die, it
Right,
happens.
right.
We
It's
can
like,
prepare ourselves. Yeah.
right. We are ready, and then nope. Keith is fine, and you're like, oh my God, Keith is fine. It was just a medication. Yay! What? And that's kind of where I think it's just the genius of Rob Thomas, right? At the end of the day, he gives us exactly what we need and not what we think we want. And it's like, and honestly, like I've been reading a lot of comments online about Logan's death, and I talked to Jenny about like how I felt about it, but a lot of the comments are saying, oh, this is sexist. Why does a woman need to suffer in order for her to be tough as nails? She can have it all. Blah 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 blah. And there's like a lot of these things that are coming up, and it's mostly women that are commenting about this. And I was just like completely blown away by the response because, this is film noir, right? Like, even though, as I say, even though like quoting the show, even though it's like, SoCal noir with its endless waves on the beach and like perfect weather in Southern California, it's still noir, right? And one of the biggest things that you have to deal with noir is that the PI is never ever in a stable relationship. And if you take by consideration Keith hasn't been in a stable relationship since he became a PI. Before, when he was a sheriff, he had Leanne, he had it all. Once he chose the route of PI, he chose a lonely road, which is exactly why he never wanted this life for Veronica. Why he keeps nudging her is like, well, maybe you should do something with that law degree of you from Columbia, like, get out of here, right? He's begging her, but she's not listening. She's making this choice to do this life. This is her choice. And really what killed Logan was her career at the end of the day. Her career, her job put him at risk, and she lost him because of her job. And so I'm just like, if there's anything less sexist than that, the fact that a woman is experiencing the same career perils as a man would in her position, then that just comes with the job, right? And so that's my 2 cents on that, and you guys can talk about it if you want.
Well, so this is all very fresh for me still, you guys. So, but there's one thing about the show that is just, it's probably minor, but something about it keeps sticking in my mind. The Sea Sprite's new owner, what's her name? Maddie?
Yeah.
I still cannot get over how emotionless she was at witnessing Big Dick being beheaded.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not only did she show no emotion, but was able to completely hide that anything was wrong when Veronica confronted her, like, hey, you seem off. Are you okay? Like, that is not a normal reaction. Even for someone as, like, hardened as Veronica, that is not normal.
Even for a young, hard-boiled, teenage, angsty girl, I agree. Right. I can't imagine how disturbing that would be.
Well, I guess it worries me because she's already good at manipulation, sleuthing, lying, and then to be completely fine with something that traumatic. I am curious how that character could potentially be developed in a potential season 5.
And the fact that she just experienced like an explosion where her dad just died, and she was, was somewhat emotional, right? She was like somewhat emotional, but she behaved the way that Veronica would have.
Right.
When Veronica was 16, that's how she would have reacted. You know, it's like all that anger, she just directed it towards solving Lily's murder, which is exactly what Maddie did, right? But you're right. You know, at the point where you see, you know, Dick being beheaded, it's yeah, it's rough. You should have more of a reaction than
like
just escape.
didn't flinch. No,
Yeah.
she stayed. Like, you could see like her intentionally pausing even after he was beheaded. Most people would run,
Yeah,
most
Yeah.
people would flinch, just didn't even blink, just stood there.
hmm
And I was like, wow, that's
yeah,
intense.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You know, there were some times when it was like she was really careless. And I do think that for the sake of the season, they had to like condense her like revenge and all that stuff. Because
Yeah.
if you think about Veronica's original, like, you know, after the death of Lily, like she had a long time, you
hmm
know, from Keith working the case and then, you know, him getting fired and all this stuff for her to develop into that little hard boiled teenage detective. So it's almost like we had like the condensed version in Maddie,
yeah,
Yeah.
which I
yeah.
don't, you
Because
know, it's hard
well,
hard to say.
all right, the timeline was off basically, you know, because
Right.
Veronica, when we meet Veronica at the beginning of season one, 6 months have passed since Lily's
Yeah.
death, you know,
Yeah.
whereas this is fresh and she's just and she's jumping right into action. She's like, nope, um, you know, but she was always manipulating her dad and her mom and her stepmom. So, you know, I mean, I can see it, but it's a stretch. You're right, it's a stretch.
True. And
Mm.
Joel, to circle back on your comments about um, people being mad about this thing with Logan, which I get. I'm still really mad, and I
Yeah.
also recognize as part of the story and part of the genius of Rob Thomas. Still mad at him. Like, Rob Thomas, full
Oh yeah.
disclosure, you're on my shit list right now. Everybody involved. But I want to say that this is such a common thing for a male character, especially in noir, for the female love interest to just be like immediately killed off and to be like part of his character development is like a common thing, not just in PIs and noir, like literally in all these movies, like, you know, the wife gets killed or whatever, or, you know, it's like, it's literally happens all the time for character development for men. So, like, that's like a normal thing.
Yeah.
And that's what struck me. I was like, oh, holy shit, they just killed off.
Right.
Basically, and the roles are reversed because Veronica's playing the role that a man typically plays and what we're used to seeing. But I do think the reason there's so much vitriol online and anger is because we fucking love Logan.
Of
And
course, and we
we're
love
mad.
adult Logan. Like, let's be honest.
Oh my god.
So
Not gonna
emotionally
lie.
well-adjusted. He's incredible.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'm gonna say. Speaking about Logan as the token side piece, like the pretty thing, it starts from the beginning, right? So he comes out from the beach looking like Bo Derek, you know, right? In 10
Does.
with the little speedos,
He's just missing his
right?
braids. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So he comes out and they tell you right away, he's the side piece. She's the one in charge. And it comes right in that first conversation when she's like, hey, I need a fridge to move, blah, 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 blah. You know, like, and they have that little, you know, which by the way
Banter.
was like that banter was brilliant. And the two girls be like, I don't have anything to move and I live on the first floor. And then he's like, well, that sounds like a better offer. What did I say about speaking, right? That was just
Yes,
fucking
you're right.
like, so like they're telling you right away, he's the pretty young thing, the pretty sexy thing is Logan, and he's telling you like this is how we're gonna treat him. But adult Logan, can we talk about adult Logan for a minute because
Let's do it.
well-adjusted, you know, trying to contain his anger, Logan is like
Unafraid to go to
husband we-
therapy.
yeah, like.
Right?
Like it's like yes where do we find these men